Y'all lucky I remembered to record. I forgot. Okay. Jonah chapter 2. But I want to start at the end of verse 1. Because remember, these are not broken down into chapters until the 1500s. Right? So, which means all of these chapters and stuff like that merged together. Some of the chapters are not in chronological order. If you go to something simple like Isaiah, you got to like Isaiah 19, you're going to get the context in chapter 11 and chapter 26 or 27. You know what I'm saying? So if you go to the book of Daniel, you'll see that's not in chronological order, you know, so on and so forth, right? Some things merge right into the next chapter because they are scrolls and the way things are broken down, right? All right, let's get it. Can y'all hear me good?
Con.
Okay.
Con.
All right. I was just wondering because I got my sword like leaning up against the computer. So, all right. So this is Jonah, chapter 1 and verse 17. It says, "Now the Lord hath prepared a great fish to swallow up Jonah, and Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights." Okay. Now with that, let's go to Luke. Luke 11 and 29 and 30. Luke 11 and 29 says, "And when the people were gathered thick together, he began to say, This is an evil generation. They seek a sign, and there shall no sign be given it, but the sign of Jonas the prophet. For as Jonas was a sign unto the Ninevites, so shall also the Son of Man be to this generation." What's the sign of Jonah? That he'll be in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights. All right? So let's go to Matthew chapter 12, verse. Ooh, I'll start at 38. 38 through 41. Says, "Then certain of the scribes and of the Pharisees answered, saying, Master, we would see a sign from thee." Luke just called them an evil generation because they look for a sign, right? But he answered and said unto them, "An evil and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given to it but the sign of the prophet Jonas. For as Jonas was 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, so shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. The men of Nineveh shall rise in judgment with this generation and shall condemn them, because they repented at the preaching of Jonas, and behold, a greater than Jonas is here." See, so right here, we can see what Jonah is about to prophesy in chapter 2. But when you go to Jonah chapter 2, it doesn't seem like a prophecy. It seems like what he's going through, right? So Jonah chapter 2 and verse 1. "Then Jonah prayed unto the Lord his God out of the fish's belly." What was the fish's belly? The heart of the earth, right? So when it pertains to Yahushua, 3 days, 3 nights. So shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. Is Jonah dead? No, he's not dead. This is how you see the prophecy of Yahushua in the book of Jonah, right? Go ahead, sister.
What scripture is this? I can't see the top of your screen. So
I'm sharing my screen, right? Okay. This one is Matthew 12 and verse 40.
Kahala.
Sister, who asked that? Sister Nazi, y'all. Did it happen to Jonah? Yes. It happened to Jonah, but like I said, it's also a similitude of Yahushua. You see what I'm saying? So it is happening to Jonah, but it is a similitude of what's to come. Remember, a lot of things are a shadow of things to come, right? So in Jonah, this is a shadow of Yahushua to come, to die, buried, and resurrected, right? Jonah wasn't in the heart of the earth. That is Yahushua being in the heart of the earth. Jonah is in the belly of the fish. The belly of the fish, no, it's all good, sis. The belly of the fish is the similitude of Yahushua being in the heart of the earth. You see what I'm saying? Okay. Jonah 2 and 2. And said, I cried by reason of mine affliction unto the Lord, and he heard me out of the belly of hell. Cried I, and thou heardest my voice. So Jonah's in the belly of the fish, right? Hell, let's go to that. Hell is Sheol, right? Salaki. Kind of like a whole bunch of messages. Lines of Israel. They be going nuts on the Sabbath. So hell is Sheol, right? So Sheol is underworld, grave, hell, a pit, place of no return, without praise, wicked sent there for punishment. Let's see, Hades or world of the dead. So what I'm showing you right here is hell is not like how Christianity thinks, like some little red horn creature with a pitchfork poking you all day and you hot. Nah, hell is a condition, right? Hell is a condition, grave or pit. So grave is what Yahushua went through, right? In the belly of the earth. The condition is not the exact same as Jonah. He's going through an affliction. You see what I'm saying? So he's in the belly of the fish. This is a form of hell for him. You see what I'm saying? A form of hell for us is living under these Edomites. You know what I'm saying? Some of us being shot down in the street, our people being persecuted, so on and so forth. Those are forms of hell. You see what I'm saying? Let's go to Isaiah. I think I want Isaiah 5 and 14. Uh, I think. Yes. Isaiah 5 and 14 says, therefore hell hath enlarged herself and opened her mouth without measure. and their glory and their multitude and their pomp, and he that rejoiceth shall descend into it. You see, so like I said, hell is a condition. Verse 15, and the mean man shall be brought down, and the mighty man shall be humbled, and the eyes of the lofty shall be humbled. You see what I'm saying? So this is a condition. This is a condition that Jonah is in. You see, and this is a condition that Yahweh would be in 3 days and 3 nights, same as Jonah. That's why Yahweh says the sign that you'll receive is from Jonah, not from him. The sign was already given. The Pharisees just didn't understand that this is what was going to happen to Yahweh. You see what I'm saying? Let's let's go to Psalms chapter 30, verse 2 and 3. Because Jonah said he cried out of hell, right? Out of the belly of hell, and thou heardest my voice. Psalms 2 and 3. O Lord my God, I cried unto thee, and thou hast healed me. O Lord, thou hast brought my soul from the grave. From the grave, remember, the grave is a form of hell. Thou hast kept me alive, that I should not go down to the pit. And we'll get more into the pit here shortly. So you see, so right here in this song, there's an understanding of what hell is. You see, it's a condition. So even when you see in like the New Testament in scripture, when it says, because some people equate Yahweh being in the belly of the earth and him speaking to the dead, they put that together and try to say that Yahweh was in hell talking to souls in hell. That has absolutely nothing to do with that at all. It's just people don't understand what is even going on right there, which is crazy. You see. Let's go to Psalms chapter 86 and 13. 86 and 13 says, for great is thy mercy toward me, and thou hast delivered my soul from the lowest hell. How you got different levels of hell? You see what I'm saying? That's how you know it's not a place, it's a condition. You see what I'm saying? You don't have like just different levels. Like one level you're dealing with snakes, and another level you're dealing with this red horn, pitchforks, hot devil, and another level it's like purgatory. It doesn't work like that. Hell is a condition. All right. Let's go back to Jonah chapter 2 and verse 3. It says, for thou hast cast me into the deep, in the midst of the seas, and the floods compassed me about. All thy billows and thy waves passed over me. Then I said, I am cast out of thy sight. Yet I will look again toward thy holy temple. All right. So you have a couple things right here, right? Let's go to Psalms 88 and 6. Like I said, this won't be a long class. It's just a deeper dive of what Jonah is prophesying. Psalms 88 and 6, thou hast laid me in the lowest pit, in darkness, in the deeps. What's the deeps? Which is Nasola, Nasola, deep, the deep sea, from the same deep place, bottom, deep, or depth. All of these things are referring to these conditions, right? All of these things are referring to the conditions that Jonah is going through. Let me. What do I want? What do I want? Right. So deep depths, deep places, abyss, the deep sea, the grave. You see, so this is what he's referring to. And when we go to Psalms, we just read 88, 6, and 7, right? So right here, Psalms 88, 6, and 7, it's used in the same way, right? So deeps is referring to the grave as well. Okay. And he's being overcome. Jonah's being overcome. You see what I'm saying? It's overwhelming to be in this form of hell. You see what I'm saying? It's overwhelming to be in this form of hell. This is why he's crying out to the Most High. You see, this is why he's crying out to the Most High. Let's go Psalms 42 and verse 7. Deep calleth unto deep at the noise of thy waterspouts. All thy waves and thy billows are gone over me. Billows is just another form of waves, you see. So, like I said, it's just overwhelming to Jonah. Remember when Yahushua, he knew what was going to happen, right? He knew what was going to happen. He's becoming overwhelmed. He cries to the Most High, asks if the Most High can remove this cup from him. You see what I'm saying? But the Most High's will must be done, right? This is this is going into that type of depth. This is going into that type of sorrow. This is going into the floods compassing him about. You see what I'm saying? It's becoming overwhelming. This is something harsh. This is something heavy to deal with. You know what I mean? Let's go to verse 5. The waters compass me about, even to thy soul. The depth closed me round about. The weeds were wrapped about my head. What is this weeds talking about? Seaweeds? Let's go to Matthew 27 and 29. Shalom, Jay.
Shalom.
Matthew 27 and 29 says, and when they had platted a crown of thorn, they put it upon his head, and a reed in his right hand, and they bowed the knee before him and mocked him, saying, Hail, King of the Jews. What is the weeds around Jonah's head? Uh, this is a representation of the crown of thorns that was going to be put on Yahushua's head. You see what I'm saying? Remember, he's in the heart, for the similitude, he's in the heart of the earth. He is being overwhelmed with the floods. He is in hell. And now he receives this weeds about his head, right? Which is a similitude for the crown of thorns that was on Yahushua.
And where was that at in Matthew?
Matthew 27 and 29. And I give you another one, John chapter 19 and verse 1 and 2. Or 1 through 3. I'll go 1 through 3. Says then Pilate, whatever, therefore took Yahushua and scourged him. And the soldiers platted a crown of thorns and put it on his head. And they put on him a purple robe and said, Hail, King of the Jews. And they smote him with their hands. See, so this is what I'm showing you, right? So Jonas is going to be in this belly of the fish 3 days, 3 nights. Yahushua has to be in the heart of the earth 3 days, 3 nights. He has to go through affliction. This is a form of hell, being in the grave. He is overwhelmed in the deep. You see what I'm saying? And now the weeds were wrapped around about my head, so as Yahushua with the crown of thorns put on his head. See? Let's keep going. Jonah chapter 2 and verse 6. I went down to the bottoms of the mountains. The earth with her bars was about me forever. In this right here, bars, these bars have a couple different meanings. A bar of wood, city gates, tribulation, fortress of the earth as a prison. Okay. In this case, remember, context supersedes etymology, right? So I went down to the bottoms of the mountains. The earth with her bars was about me forever. In this case, it's really referring to the cities. All right. Let's go to Second Chronicles 14 and 6. Now, when it comes to the cities, we deal with tribulation, right? Every time we're in captivity, you know what I'm saying? You can look at those as like a form of bars. You're in within city gates, you have this tribulation going on, our captivities. You see what I'm saying? Jonah is in this position. He can't get out. He's trapped here. You see what I'm saying? Second Chronicles 14 and 6. And he built fenced cities in Judah, for the land had rest, and he had no war in those years, because the Lord had given him rest. See, this is how you see that it's cities, right? Let's get another one. And it goes to the bottom of the mountains, right? Bottoms of the mountains. Let's go to Lamentations 2 and 2. Lamentations 2 and 2. The Lord has swallowed up all the habitations of Jacob. See, that has to deal with your cities. And hath not pity. He hath thrown down in his wrath the strongholds of the daughter of Judah. He hath brought them down to the ground. He hath polluted the kingdom and the princes thereof. You see what I'm saying? So Jonah being in this position, he is put at the bottom. He is at his low. You see? And it has to deal with, like I said, habitations and the cities, same as Yahushua. Yahushua was dealing with Jerusalem and the surrounding areas, right? They rejected him. A lot of them rejected him. You see what I'm saying? Let's get another one. Lamentations 3, 54. Let's see. 54 and through 56. Waters flowed over my head. Then I said, I am cut off. There's your bottom. You see what I'm saying? There's your overwhelming flood being cut off. I called upon thy name, O Lord, out of the low dungeon. Thou hast heard my voice. Hide not thine ear at my breathing, at my cry. You see, so like I said, you're in this hell, which is a condition. Doesn't mean that you have to be in the heart of the earth. No. Doesn't mean you got to be in the belly of the fish. No. We cry out to the Most High now in our hell and in our torment, out of low dungeons, so on and so forth. You see what I'm saying? All of this is a reflection of Yahushua because, like I said earlier, remember Yahushua comes through the volume of the book. A lot of people who believe only in the Old Testament will not look at Jonah chapter 2 um, going into Yahushua. They try to look at other people. You know what I mean? Um, Even if you go to Genesis and it prophesies about Yahushua in chapter 49, they look at it as that being David. You see what I'm saying? David doesn't come through the volume of the book. Yahushua does. You see? 5. Jonah 2 and 6 again. I went down to the bottoms of the mountains. The earth with her bars was about me forever. Yet hast thou brought up my life from corruption, O Lord my God. What is corruption? It's not like how we read in the dictionary. Corruption in the Hebrew is sahab, 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 pit, destruction, grave, pit of hell, destruction. So this corruption has to do with what Jonah's going through. You see what I'm saying? He's going through hell. He's going through this pit. So when we see the word, when we see the meaning or see the scripture when it mentions pit, a lot of times it's referring to this corruption, hell, destruction, so on and so forth. You see what I'm saying? That yet hast thou brought up my life from corruption. The Most High is going to raise in Salafi. Yahweh is going to raise in 3 days, right? From hell, from this pit, from destruction, right? Let's go to Psalm 69, 1 and 2. Mm, yeah. Book of Psalm chapter 69, verse 1. I'm not going to get into this part. To the chief musician upon Shoshanayim, a psalm of David. I'm not going to get into this person who writes the chords for David. He does it multiple times. All right, but that's a whole different thing. But you'll see that being listed in different psalms. Save me, O God, for the waters are come in unto my soul. I sink in deep mire where there is no standing. I'm come into deep waters where the floods overflow me. Right? So deep, this deep, this pit, this what it was called, corruption, this grave, this hell, this is all referring to the same thing. You see? All referring to the same thing. Let's see. Let's get Ezekiel 28 and 8. So we have a better idea of these words that's being used as a similitude, right? This is Ezekiel 28 and 8. It says, they shall bring thee down to the pit, and thou shalt die the deaths of them that are slain in the midst of the seas. Right? Bring thee down into the pit. Into the pit, same word, sahat, right? Pit, destruction, and grave. Same word as corruption. See what I'm saying? That pit, that hell, that grave. You see what I'm saying? Same word. Let's get another one. Let's go Psalms 30 and verse 3. Book of Psalms, chapter 30 and verse 3. O Lord, thou hast brought up my soul from the grave. Thou hast kept me alive, that I should not go down to the pit. You see, so in this context, so we know that there's grave, right? Down to the pit, you have multiple meanings, right? Grave, corruption, destruction, so on and so forth. See, so, but they have like a similar meaning. The grave is a form of the pit is a form of a grave. Now you just need to understand which definition to use because you can't use all definitions of of the word. You know what I'm saying? You can't apply every single definition when it comes to a word. You can't do that. All right. Let's go Psalm 16 and 10. Psalm 16 and 10. For thou wilt not leave my soul in hell, neither wilt thou suffer thine holy one to see corruption. See, so who is the Holy One? This this goes into different things. So I'm not gonna I'm not gonna break this down too much, but there's a Holy One of Israel, and there's a Holy One of the Most High. Does that make sense? In this context, I believe that this is speaking of Yahweh Shai. But there are two holy ones, okay? Holy One of Israel, Holy One of the Most High, okay? Context supersedes. All right. So, for thou wilt not leave my soul in hell, neither wilt thou suffer thine Holy One to see corruption. All right. So, this is how you know that this is speaking of Yahweh Shai, because Yahweh is the one who has to bring Yahweh Shai up. He's the one who raises him from the dead. Yahweh Shai doesn't raise himself from the dead. Doesn't make any sense. You see what I'm saying? It has to be the Most High to raise him from the dead. Huh? Let's go Ezekiel 19 and I believe verse 4. Ezekiel 19 and verse 4. The nations also heard of him. He was taken in their pit, and they brought him with chains unto the land of Egypt. We know that Egypt is referring to bondage, right? All right. He was taken to their pit. So corruption, destruction, grave. You see what I'm saying? So on and so forth. But it's referring to that bondage. Yahushua had to go through a bondage. He had to receive the stripes of Israel. He had to die, lay in the ground in the heart of the earth 3 days and 3 nights, and then be resurrected. Right? Let's go back. Jonah chapter 2 and verse 7. When my soul fainted within me, I remembered the Lord. This is flesh, okay? And I'm saying that for a reason. When my soul fainted within me, I remembered the Lord. And my prayer came unto thee into thine holy temple. This right here is dealing with heaven and earth. And my prayer came in unto thee in thy holy temple. There's your heavens. My soul was fainted within me. I remembered the Lord. That is your flesh. That is the earth. Okay. Let's go to Isaiah 44 and 28. Isaiah chapter 44 and verse 28. I want this. Yeah. That saith of Cyrus, he is my shepherd, and shall perform all my pleasure. Even saying to Jerusalem, thou shalt be built, and to the temple, thy foundation shall be laid. This is going into the heaven part. The new Jerusalem, it shall be built, and it'll be the temple, right? The foundation is laid. What is the foundation? You have to have faith in Yahweh, right? That'll be your foundation. You know what I'm saying? Remember, when it comes to the temple, the children of Israel are the walls and the gates and so on. You see what I'm saying? This goes into a whole another meaning, but you know what I'm saying? This is what this is speaking of, right? Let's go to the book of Psalms. Psalms chapter 18 and verse 6. In my distress, I called upon the Lord and cried unto my God. He heard my voice out of his temple, and my cry came before him, even into his ears. See, so when Jonah's crying out, the Most High is hearing from his temple. So there's your heaven part, right? When Yahushua is crying out, the Most High hears. The Most High is like, he's not standing next to us. You know what I'm saying? Remember, Paul mentions that the Most High dwells in the third heaven, right? So out of that temple, the Most High hears. You see, so this is that heavenly part in Jonah 2 and 7, right? Like I said, the fleshly part, his soul felt faint, right? When Yahushua went into, what was he, the Mount of Olives when he cried to the Most High, there is your earthly part. You see what I'm saying? He cried, he was in fear. You know what I mean? He was in fear. But everything to come after that was the heavenly part, you see. Let's go to Psalms 11 and 4. Psalms 11 and 4. The Lord is in his holy temple. The Lord's throne is in heaven. His eyes behold, his eyelids try the children of men. His eyelids try the children of men, right? Like I said, that's your fleshly part, that's your earthly part, okay? But the holy temple, that is your heavenly part. Remember, the temple is within you, right? That comes with faith, that comes with law, statutes, and commandments, so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? When we faint in our spirits, you know what I'm saying? That is your earthly part. Remember, Paul says it best in uh, Romans chapter 7. You know, he says it best there, how his flesh battles and wars with his members, right? Paul says it real good there. All right. Let's go to verse 8. Jonah chapter 2, verse 8. They that observe lying vanities forsake their own mercy. Let's go to Psalms 31 and 6. Book of Psalms, chapter 31 and verse 6. I have hated them that regard lying vanities, but I trust in the Lord. Now we all know how you show that you trust in the Lord, how you show that you love the Lord, right? What is it, 1 John 5 and 3? You see what I'm saying? So I'll go to it for those that don't know. 1 John chapter 5, verse 3 says, for this is I'll start at verse 2. 1 John chapter 5, verse 2, by this we know that we love the children of God, when we love God and keep his commandments. For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. Right? So people, what does it say? It said, they that observe lying vanities forsake their own mercy. Falling into the way of the world is forsaking your own mercy, right? Loving the world is forsaking your own mercy. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to Isaiah 59. Isaiah 59 and verse. Did I just read that? No, I read Psalms, right? Isaiah 59 and verse 4. None calleth for justice, nor any pleadeth for truth. They trust in vanity and speak lies. They conceive mischief and bring forth iniquity. Hey, look, you can cut your time short. You know what I'm saying? Every day on your or every hair on your head is numbered, right? So the Most High knows if you're going to touch it. We're going to look at it like, oh man, he cut his time short, right? But it was already laid out by the Most High. You know what I'm saying? You observe lying vanities. You turned against the Most High. It's really that simple, you know? Jonah 2 and 9. But I will sacrifice unto thee with the voice of thanksgiving. I will pay that I have vowed. Salvation is of the Lord, right? Let me see if I want something real fast. Mm, no. Okay. Um, but I will sacrifice unto thee with the voice of thanksgiving. I will pay that I have vowed. Salvation is of the Lord. I will pay that I have vowed, right? Um, I don't remember the scripture. I think it's in the book of Numbers. Uh, no, no, which, oops. So he said, I paid my vow, right? You must pay your vow to the Most High. Let's see. Nope, I don't want that. Salaki. I didn't even think about this until now.
So, like, what are you looking for?
If you make a vow to the Most High, you must pay it.
I think that's like Numbers 27 or something like that.
Right, it's in Numbers, but I can't think of which one.
Okay. If you let me get my sword out. If you find it before me, I'll just stay on mute.
Con. I got it. I got it. It's
All praise.
Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 4. No, there's one in Numbers too. Yeah, there's one in Numbers. All right, Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 4. When thou vowest a vow unto God, defer not to pay it, for he hath no pleasure in fools. Pay that which thou hast vowed. Better is it that thou shouldest not vow than that thou shouldest vow and not pay. Suffer not thy mouth to cause thy flesh to sin, neither say before the angel that it was an error. Wherefore should God be angry at thy voice and destroy the work of thy hands? You see, so Jonah's saying, I paid my vow, right? Why is he saying that he will pay that vow? Yahushua paid the cost in order for us to be able to reconcile to the Most High, right? Yahushua paid that vow. This is why I say all the time to our people, we owe a debt. You see what I'm saying? So when our people live their lives willy-nilly, think they don't have to follow the Most High or I got time and stuff like that, nah, you owe a debt to your brother Yahushua. Numbers 30 and 1. So I knew there was one in Numbers, Jay. But yeah, so yeah, we owe a debt. You see what I'm saying? So, like I said, when people live willy-nilly and they go against the grain and stuff like that, you're not, how are you repaying Yahushua? How do you expect to be reconciled to the Most High? You see what I'm saying? This is why Jonah says, I will pay that I have vowed. Salvation is of the Lord. This is going into that. You see what I'm saying? We owe. And how do you start? I already gave it to y'all in 1 John chapter 5, 2 and 3. All right. Verse 10, Jonah chapter 2 and verse 10. And the Lord spake unto the fish, and it vomited out Jonah upon the dry land. Like I said, Yahweh did not raise by himself, the Most High raised him. So you see, and that's the last verse of this chapter. So you see, this is happening to Jonah, like the sister Nazia asked, but it is a similitude of Yahweh Shai's death, burial, and resurrection. Okay? This is a prophecy of that. Prophecy is not necessarily Jonah has to go and tell the people, hey, this is what I went through and this is what's going to happen to the Son of Man. No. What he's going through itself is the prophecy and showing you what's going to happen to the Son of Man. You see what I'm saying? Like I said, this wasn't going to be no long class. This was just a deeper dive into Jonah chapter 2, show you that Yahweh is and comes through the volume of the book. Mm-hmm.
Can you, I can't remember, the definition of similar to, can you pull that up, please?
Definition of a similitude.
Yeah, this is similar to. Obviously, sounds like similar, but.
Similitude definition, the quality of state of being similar to something, a comparison between two things, a person or thing resembling someone or something else. All right. With that, I'll stop the recording unless you guys have questions on this chapter. If not on this chapter, then I'll stop the recording and then I'll leave it open. Lord's will, everybody got the understanding. If you got an understanding, say Kam Yasharala.
Kwam Yasharala.
Kwam Yasharala.
Kwam Yasharala.
Kwam Yasharala.
All right. Let me stop the recording. Oops, I stopped the share. So